me some ice. Skin me a peach and save the fuzz for my pillow. Poach me a prawns. Talk to me nice, you got to wine and dine me. I'm getting hungry. Peel me a grave.
I'm Laura Bonicelli, and we are cooking with Italian style. It's not always fast, it's not always easy, and it's not always Italian. We use the freshest and finest ingredients that we can find and afford, and we not only savor the meals we make, we savor making them. That's cooking with Italian style. Today we're making a rich, creamy, and colorful asparagus soup, just in time for spring. Let's get cooking. Asparagus is so good for you, and what I love about this recipe is it uses the entire spear. Asparagus is rich in iron, potassium, vitamin K, and folate. It helps rid the system of toxins and helps lower cholesterol. So what we're going to start with, we have 4 pounds of asparagus, and I'm going to just cut the beautiful tips off at about 1.5 inches to 2 inches, and then I'm going to cut the woody stems off of the bottom, and I'm going to separate them. And then the center part, I'm going to cut into 1/2-inch pieces, roughly, like that. And again, I'm going to set those over there. And I'm just going to line my spears up like this so I can get the tops all together. And again, cut the tops off like so. This is going to be our garnish. We're going to actually blanch these. And then cut off the woody stems. It's probably about, I don't know, 1/3 off the bottom, and then these into 1/2-inch slices. Asparagus grows as a fern, and it actually takes several years of tending that fern, even here in Minnesota, before you actually get asparagus spears. But after that, as long as you take care of it, you always get asparagus in the spring, which we wait for all winter long. Okay, I am going to just keep going, finishing up the rest of the asparagus spears, and I have 6 cups of stock coming to a simmer over here. Remember I said that we were going to use the entire stock of asparagus. Well, as soon as I'm done here, we're going to take the woody stems and we're going to put them into the simmering stock and simmer them for about 20 minutes, and that's going to help to give a nice deep flavor to our chicken stock. You could, by the way, use vegetable stock if you wanted it to be fully vegetarian. No problem with that. Okay, just slice these guys up here. Perfect. And get rid of them. Okay. Whoops. They're getting away from me. Okay, now to my simmering chicken stock, I will add the end pieces here, like so, about 20 minutes. So our woody stalks have done their job. They've flavored our stock. So I'm just going to use a skimmer or a strainer to get them out of the stock. And then using the same stock, get them all out of there. This is really using a lot of asparagus, but trust me, it is worth it. Just get the last of them. And using the same stock, we are going to blanch very lightly our asparagus tips. Now, some people like their asparagus more done than I do. I like it to just turn a bright green and then I take it out. I like it to be a little bit al dente, even in a soup. I like that difference in texture. Okay, 2 more. I'll get them. That is it. All right, then I'm setting these aside, and then back into my simmering water, my asparagus tips. This took less than a minute. I'm already taking them out, and I've got an ice bath here that is half ice and half cold water, and the spear's going to go right into that. And again, I'm going to be fishing around to get them all, and making sure that I drain the stock to the best of my ability. They are so bright and beautiful, and they'll be still crunchy, which I love. Okay, that is, I think, the last of them. Then the key with using an ice bath is once you get everything in, you need to get it out and you need to put it on paper towels to get the water out of it. You don't want your vegetables to get waterlogged. So I'm going to just immediately, and I'm going to use my hands for this, pull these right out and put them on paper towels to dry out. So we're done with our stock for now. I think I called it water earlier. It's not water, it's stock. Anyway, I'm gonna take it and put it aside for a little while because we're gonna use this pan to finish our soup. Okay, so that's out of the way. And I'm gonna just turn this on and to a medium heat. This is a couple of tablespoons of unsalted butter. I use unsalted butter because I like to control the seasoning, and if the butter had salt in it, I would have salt in my recipe already, which I don't want. Okay, so that's going to melt, and while that is melting, I'm gonna mince up a couple of cloves of garlic. There we go. This is pretty fresh. It's harder to get apart when it's fresh. Okay, I've already chopped about 1.5 cups of leek, and that's right here. Just the white and light green parts only. I love using leek in this recipe because leeks have a bit of a garlic flavor to them too, as well as a mild onion flavor. You could, however, if you didn't have leeks, you could certainly substitute onion, and about the same amount, I would think. Okay, so that is a huge clove of garlic. This one is, but we're gonna go ahead and use them because we like garlic a lot. Okay, I'm gonna mince those just quickly like that. And bearing in mind, this whole soup is gonna be pureed and anyway, except for, of course, the tips that are going to be the garnish. So you can mince it, but you don't have to be too accurate about it because it's going to be pureed in a little while anyway. All right, it looks like my butter is melting, and I'm gonna add in my 1.5 cups of leeks. I'll let these go for about 3 minutes, and I'm adding my chopped garlic. I'm going to saute that for about a minute. Now I increase the heat, and I'm adding my 1/2 cup of white wine. I'm going to cook that completely off. And then I'm lowering the heat and adding in the chopped asparagus. Not the tips, but the center part. And into that, a teaspoon of kosher salt, and 1/2 teaspoon of white pepper, which I'm using because I don't want black pepper flakes in my soup. This I'm going to saute for about 3 minutes just to combine it. And then I'm adding in my reserved flavored chicken stock. And this I'm going to bring up to a simmer, and I'm going to simmer it for about 20 minutes until it's ready to puree. The asparagus is nice and tender. This is definitely ready to go. And I'm going to use my immersion blender. If you don't have one of these, get one. They're great for doing just this. I'm going to actually puree this entire thing in the pot. I don't have to remove it to a blender. I'm not dealing with hot liquid, outside of the pot. And you just put it in like this and work with it, stirring and kind of going up and down until you've got a nice smooth puree. It does take a little time, but it's definitely worth the effort. You can see what a beautiful, beautiful green this is going to be, and our spears are going to look so great. And I wasn't wrong in using this much asparagus. Just look at how thick this is going to be. All right, I think that is absolutely perfect. So I'm going to set this aside. And then to finish it off, I'm just going to add some heavy cream. And you could do anywhere from 1/4 to 1/2 cup. And if you want to go dairy-free, you can totally skip this step and it will be just fine. So then, okay, so that looks good to me. Now that lightened the green a little bit. It's just still beautiful. I'm going to give it a quick taste just to make sure I have enough salt. And let me do that. Okay. Just a smidge more salt, so I'm just going to finish it off with that. Then what I'm going to do is return this to the heat for about 3 minutes just to make sure it's heated through, and we'll plate it up. I selected a nice white bowl to put the asparagus soup in to show off the green, but the truth is I put almost everything on white anyway. So I'm just going to, whoops, I will have to clean that up. Just ladle this into the bowl. You can see it's got kind of a variation in colors of green, light and dark, so there's still some pieces in here. It's not just completely smooth. but looking beautiful. Okay, let me set that back down like so. And then I've got a paper towel here to wipe off where I dropped a little soup. Okay, then into the center, we're going to put a nice little heap of the asparagus spears like that. They'll sink a little bit, maybe a little more so we can really see them. This is the good part. This is a little bit of crunch that goes along with it. And then on top of that, I've got some creme fraiche that I'm just going to do a little dollop to garnish. There we go. Absolutely beautiful. If you like this recipe and more, go to solobybonicelli.com and click on the recipe video button. I really hope you enjoy making my asparagus soup and cooking with Italian style. Buon appetito!